Is India really the next China? This question has been swirling around in the minds of many given the rapid economic growth and global influence of these two Asian giants. Amidst the conjectures and comparisons, the essence of this debate lies in understanding the unique trajectories of these nations. From historical and cultural differences to distinct political systems and economic models, the factors are many and multifaceted. This video will delve into these aspects, offering a comprehensive insight into the intriguing question at hand. In the next few minutes, we'll take a closer look at 10 reasons why India is not the next China. First, let's consider the historical and cultural differences between the two nations. The histories of India and China are as diverse as they are long. Each has been shaped by distinct epochs, political upheavals, and social transformations that have left indelible imprints on their present-day societies. In India, the legacy of British colonial rule, the struggle for independence, and the subsequent establishment of a democratic republic have all contributed to a society that is vibrant, diverse, and democratic. India's unique cultural practices, rooted in thousands of years of tradition, have also influenced its development, with an emphasis on pluralism, diversity, and tolerance. China, on the other hand, has been shaped by millennia of imperial rule, the upheavals of the 20th century, and the establishment of a communist state. Its cultural practices, while equally ancient, have been influenced by periods of isolation, uniformity, and state control. These historical and cultural differences have shaped the two nations' attitudes towards governance, society, and the economy. They have influenced their paths of development, resulting in two very different models of growth, each with its own strengths and challenges. India and China's historical and cultural differences have led them down different paths, shaping their unique identities and growth trajectories. Next, we come to the political systems of the two countries. On one hand, we have India, the world's largest democracy, where power is dispersed and decisions are often slow to take shape due to the checks and balances that come with a democratic setup. While this may sometimes hinder rapid progress, it ensures the voice of the people is heard and respected. On the other hand, we have China, where an authoritarian regime holds sway. This system allows for quicker decision-making and implementation of policies, but it also means that these decisions are made by a select few, without the broad consensus that is characteristic of a democracy. These political systems shape not only domestic policies but also the country's foreign relations. For instance, India's strained relations with China have led to a strengthening of ties with the United States and a shift in trade negotiations. Conversely, China's political system allows it to make swift, unilateral decisions in its foreign policy, which has its own set of advantages and drawbacks. The political systems of these nations also impact their economic growth. While China's authoritarian rule has enabled rapid industrialization and economic development, India's democratic system promotes a more inclusive growth that takes into account the welfare of its diverse population. The contrasting political systems of India and China significantly influence their domestic and international strategies. The third reason lies in their economic models. India operates with a mixed economy, a blend of market and planned economies, where both private industry and state direction play significant roles. This approach has fostered a diverse and competitive economic environment, yet with a slower pace of growth. On the other side, China's economy is state-controlled. The government directs the economy, owning many of the nation's major industries and providing detailed plans that guide economic growth. This model, while criticized for its lack of competition and potential for inefficiencies, has enabled China to achieve rapid economic development. However, these two distinct economic models reflect differing societal values and priorities. India's mixed economy promotes individual freedom and competition, while China's state-controlled economy emphasizes collective progress and stability. These economic models, with their inherent strengths and weaknesses, have shaped the growth patterns of both nations. They've influenced how each country interacts with the global market, how they handle their domestic affairs, and even how they respond to crises. The distinct economic models of India and China are key to understanding their unique development paths. Let's now take a look at the demographics. When we compare India and China, the demographic differences are striking. China, with its one-child policy that spanned over 3 decades, has a rapidly aging population. This presents a significant challenge as the country grapples with the prospect of supporting an older population with a comparatively smaller young workforce. On the other hand, India, dubbed as the world's largest democracy, has a much younger demographic profile. India is currently experiencing a demographic dividend, a period when the proportion of working-age people is particularly high. This youthful energy has the potential to fuel economic growth and innovation, a marked contrast to China's aging workforce. However, this demographic dividend is a double-edged sword. To truly benefit from this, India needs to invest in education and create enough jobs for its young population, a task easier said than done. In the realm of smartphone usage, we see a clear reflection of these demographic trends. Apple, for instance, sees India's young and growing middle class as a significant opportunity for growth. The company's share of smartphone sales in India may only be 5.1%, but it's on the rise, indicating India's increasing appetite for technology and digital connectivity. The demographic differences between India and China offer a compelling reason why India is not the next China. Geography is another important factor. The distinct geographic characteristics of India and China play a critical role in shaping their economies and societies. India's diverse climate, ranging from the frozen peaks of the Himalayas to the tropical southern coasts, contrasts with China's vast landscapes that span from the arid deserts in the west to fertile plains in the east. These climatic variations impact agricultural productivity, natural resource availability, and the overall cost of living in both nations. Moreover, China's strategic location, with its coastal cities and ports, has significantly contributed to its economic growth, facilitating international trade and attracting foreign investments. On the other hand, India's location, with a long coastline but lesser port infrastructure, has its own set of challenges and opportunities. Furthermore, natural resources vary greatly between the two countries. China's abundant coal reserves have powered its industrial growth, whereas India's reliance on import for oil and gas has been a persistent economic challenge. Lastly, climate change impacts these two countries differently. For instance, India's agricultural sector, a significant part of its economy, is highly vulnerable to monsoon variations, whereas China faces severe air pollution issues due to its heavy reliance on coal. Geographic factors further distinguish India from China, shaping their economies and societies in different ways. Infrastructure differences cannot be overlooked. Let's delve into this crucial aspect. When we talk about infrastructure, we're referring to the fundamental facilities and systems that enable a nation to function. This includes everything from roads and bridges to power plants to telecommunications. China has made remarkable strides in infrastructure development over the past few decades. It's home to some of the world's most impressive feats of engineering, like the world's longest sea bridge and a high-speed rail network that's larger than the rest of the world's combined. India, on the other hand, has faced challenges in this area. Despite making significant progress, the country still grapples with issues related to basic infrastructure. Many regions still lack reliable access to electricity, clean water, and efficient transportation systems. These differences are not just physical, but also reflect disparities in the two countries' approaches to development. China's top-down approach to infrastructure development, driven by a strong central government, has allowed for rapid, large-scale projects. In contrast, India's democratic system, with its checks and balances, often results in slower progress due to bureaucratic hurdles and complex land acquisition processes. Furthermore, infrastructure investment also plays a role in shaping a nation's global influence. China's Belt and Road Initiative is a prime example of using infrastructure investment as a tool for boosting its geopolitical clout. Ultimately, while both nations are making strides to improve their infrastructure, the pace and scale of development are decidedly different. The gap in infrastructure development is another reason why India is not the next China. Technological advancements play a crucial role. Let's dive into the differences in technological innovation and adoption between India and China. China has been an early adopter of technology, driving innovation forward with a strong focus on artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and quantum computing. This has been largely funded and supported by the Chinese government, resulting in a formidable tech ecosystem. India, on the other hand, has made impressive strides in information technology and software services, becoming a global hub for IT outsourcing. However, the country's technological advancements have been more uneven, with a slower pace of adoption in areas such as artificial intelligence and advanced manufacturing. China's technological success can be attributed to its strategic investment in research and development, as well as a regulatory environment that has been conducive to technological growth, whereas India's progress has been more organic, driven by entrepreneurial spirit and a burgeoning startup culture. Both countries have unique strengths to offer in the realm of technology, but they have traversed different paths. The difference in technological advancements is another key factor distinguishing India from China. International relations significantly affect a country's growth. When we compare India and China, the difference in their international ties is stark. China's aggressive stance on territorial disputes and its debt diplomacy approach have often led to strained relationships with other nations. On the contrary, India's diplomatic approach is more pacifistic and cooperative, as we can see from its growing relationship with the United States, despite stalled trade negotiations. However, India's relationship with China is itself a point of contention. The border clashes in recent years have profoundly disturbed the trust between the two nations, leading to a severe military crisis. This tension, coupled with India's more conciliatory international approach, has had an impact on its global standing. On the environmental front, where China and the US are major players, India's role is still developing. The global crisis, like the invasion of Ukraine by Russia, has underscored the need for secure and sustainable energy sources, pushing countries towards renewable energy. Here too, India's approach is likely to differ from China's. The contrasting international relations of India and China further highlight why India is not the next China. The education system forms the foundation of a nation's growth. India and China, though both Asian giants, have quite distinct education systems. China's education system is highly centralized, with a national curriculum and a strong emphasis on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, collectively known as STEM subjects. This focus has been a driving force behind China's technological advancements. On the other hand, India's education system is more diverse, with a blend of central and state control. While it does focus on STEM subjects, it also places a significant emphasis on humanities and social sciences. Although this holistic approach fosters well-rounded individuals, it hasn't quite matched China's success in churning out a high volume of tech-savvy graduates. Moreover, China has made substantial investments in education in recent years, with a clear strategy to boost innovation and technological development. India, while making strides to improve its education sector, still grapples with challenges such as inadequate infrastructure, teacher shortages, and disparities in access to quality education. These contrasting approaches to education have played a significant role in shaping the respective countries' growth trajectories. The differences in their education systems provide another reason why India is not the next China. Lastly, military strength is an important aspect of a nation's global influence. Comparing India and China, their military prowess presents stark differences. China, with its expansive military budget and vast armed forces, is considered one of the world's leading military powers. It has a robust defense industry that produces everything from small arms to advanced missile systems and stealth aircraft. On the other hand, India's military might, while significant, doesn't match China's. India's defense budget is a fraction of China's, and its military technology development lags behind. While India has a large standing army, it doesn't have the same level of modern weaponry and infrastructure that China possesses. Recent events like border clashes have highlighted these disparities. India's trust with China has been profoundly disturbed, leading to a serious military crisis. Both nations have deployed heavily, but the technological and logistical advantages lie with China. However, India is not standing still. It's strengthening its military capabilities and expanding its defense ties with allies like the United States. Nevertheless, the current gap in military strength is substantial. The difference in military strength further distinguishes India from China. So, is India the next China? Quite simply, the answer is no. After delving into the 10 reasons, we see that historical and cultural differences, political systems, economic models, demographics, geographic factors, infrastructure differences, technological advancements, international relations, education system, and military strength all paint a vivid picture of two unique nations, each with its own path of development. While both nations are significant players on the global stage, their unique characteristics and paths of development make it clear that India is not the next China.